Let's go live. Let's just take that up. That sounds awesome. Welcome, everyone. We're live on the JL Success Mastermind for Friday, June 17th. And I do see my good friend Lynn over there across the Pacific Ocean. Catherine's here. Missy's here. We're going to have more people tuning in here any second. It is Fun Friday, so somebody's got to come up with a joke. Well, Missy, we got a joke from you, right? Just by looking at how you run your computer. You've got...
Bob just goes like this.
Right. So I guess public service announcement. Here's the thing, guys. Computers can multitask. People can't, but they can only do so many things. There's a limited amount. So go ahead and quit your programs when you're done using them at night, and your stuff will be clean and it'll be good. I just had this conversation with my wife, whose computer, which is identical to mine. Mine runs perfectly. Hers is having issues. Why could that be? So we just had this conversation. So anyway, keep your stuff clean and you'll go faster. I like speed. Hey, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, I'm going to be back here with everybody. We're going to be talking about whatever you want to talk about on our Be Heard session. I want to hear from you. Any questions, comments? Last couple of weeks, it's been just a few of us, and we've been talking about business stuff, and it's been good. I think we've had a couple of ahas, a couple, points of clarity anyway. Right. So I'll be back with you at 6 p.m. That's for our members, obviously. If you're not a member here and you're seeing this on YouTube, go to jlsuccessmastermind.com, grab yourself a membership. Guaranteed you're going to love it. Today, we're talking about applying everything that you've learned, applying all the knowledge, all of it. How do we do that? And of course, again, want to acknowledge Missy, because I said, what do you want to talk about today? And that's what came up for her. Look, I've got, a joke. We need a joke. Crap. Who's got a good joke? Somebody, otherwise I'm going to have to grab one of these chicken jokes like I shared with you.
Who's on first?
I don't know
Who?
I don't know.
What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
Okay. That's an old one. All right, good. 75 chicken jokes that will tickle your funny bone. Oh, I told you a couple of these last time. All right. Why did the chickens try and escape? They felt cooped up. Oh my goodness. All right. What do you call it when a hen takes a rooster's place in the morning? Alarm clocks. Oh, here's a good one. What do sick chickens get? What ailment? They get human pox.
Oh.
Human pox, yeah. All right, good. This one I don't understand. What do you get if you cross an elephant and a chicken? A pachyderm?
Yeah, pachyderm is an elephant.
Oh, see, a pachyderm. All right. See, I'm glad that you're here, Missy, to enlighten me on these things, which I clearly have not had my attention on through the, half century that I've been walking around on the planet. All right, good. So, hey, Daisy, good to see you. So we've got... any other jokes? No, we're good. Okay. So applying all the knowledge. How do you do that? I wrote a book back in 2008 called Integrity is Everything. And it was a result of having a lot of people, well, a couple of things that prompted me to write the book. One, I thought it would be cool to be able to call myself an author. And it is. Anytime, like if you've ever written a book, people say, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm an author, and, whatever else you do. The first two syllables of the word authority. So rather than just telling people that you're an authority, you could just say you're an author and they'll extrapolate the rest. So that's good. That wasn't the main reason I wrote the book. One of the main reasons I wrote the book was because I had read so much other personal development stuff, and some of it was good and workable, and some of it was trash. Like, oh my goodness, really? This is on a bestseller list? This is effing garbage. But, you get to fill your head with a lot of knowledge and actually attempt to apply it. And you can kind of start to separate the wheat from the chaff, right? A lot of people, they write books simply, so they can get on a bestseller list and have that as a credential. Okay. So, and even though they may just be regurgitating third party, fourth party right? Something that wasn't even workable for the person they got it from. So that's much of the self-help space. But the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and write this book is for a couple of years prior, I had, I was a top producer in a high ticket direct sales operation. And I had been for years. It was, a long range. I was very consistent with, high achievement in that space. And people would come and go. And often I would be asked for my secrets. Now, any of you who've ever become successful in anything, you've been asked by people, and it's an innocent thing, typically. Okay, got any tips, or what's your secret, or this one's always an interesting one. What's the one thing I could do to break through and have results like you? Okay. And so after a while of having people asking me for my secrets, despite the fact that we all had the same data, there were no secrets. Okay. So read these books, go read Think and Grow Rich, right? Show up at the event, right? Do this and go through this training material, right? So there was definitely a path laid out for me and others to be able to put to use training and philosophy and personal development stuff and sales, et cetera, business training. So the data was available to all of us. I didn't get a special treatment. Okay. Now I had been at it consistently in terms of studying and self-development out of necessity. I had been at it consistently for some time. So a lot of newcomers may have shown up, and this is their first, time that they've ever had their attention put on the fact that if they want to increase their income, for example, well, they should work on themselves. If they want to increase their peace of mind and organization, well, they should work on themselves. If they want to improve their relationships, well, they should work on themselves. They want to have better health, well, they should work on themselves. I had been working on myself for some time. In different areas, in different arenas. So sure, fitness, and I've shared this with many people here before, is that I grew up, real skinny, and I could never break like 140 pounds. And so, I learned how to improve my fitness. In other words, to get more muscular and stuff by going and hanging around with meatheads at the gym on the Jersey Shore, right? And it worked. And it worked, right? So that was one way I could apply the philosophies, right? Same truth, same data, okay? Consistency, right? Intention, right? All the stuff we talk about here, same truth, okay? But go apply that now in this environment where results such as the ones you're seeking are not just a theory, but a reality, okay? Go hang around it with meatheads and go pump iron, and something's going to happen, something that you want to happen. Okay, so it wasn't mysterious. It wasn't a secret thing. So when I finally put pen to paper, which wasn't actually a pen and it wasn't actually paper, I spit out that book in a week into a recording device, and then took a year to edit and arrange it into actual what seems like chapters. Okay, it was just basically, here's a paragraph here, here's 2 pages there. Here's, I don't know, 2 sentences on something, and let's piece this all together into something actually readable here. But I spit it out in a week. And the main underlying theme, I guess for myself, as I was attempting to convey, here's what's actually worked in the 20 years up to that point, about 20 years that I've been attempting to apply principles into my life. Here's what's actually worked because I applied it. Therefore, there are no secrets. So that was sort of I guess the tipping point is like, all right, yes, I've probably read more than you, Mr. or Mrs. Reader, or newcomer asking me for my secrets, or if there's one thing, or, do you have any tips, right? So here's all the stuff that I have found that has actually worked in the last 20 years because I applied it. Now we can call that integrity, which I don't know that makes me special or anything. I just, look up the words. And so we're applying the knowledge. The idea of applying all of the knowledge, which is what we're talking about here today, I think is a very lofty ambition. I haven't, right? And so even when looking back at my own history and how I've been able to get above average results in this or that area of life, and not every area. Okay, there are things where I definitely could use your mentoring. Okay, but in this area, in that area, sure, it's above average. In some cases, spectacular results and statistics. How did that happen? It was just to the degree that I applied the knowledge which we all got. Goethe said, all intelligent thoughts have already been thought. All we got to do is try and think them again. I'll take that one step further. Think them again and like actually live by it. Like Gautama Buddha said, is it's don't look at tradition or because some scholar told you or whatever. See if it's workable in your life and then live by it. Now it's yours, right? So never mind theory. Okay, theory is not the end, right? It's a means to an end, or it's an ingredient in getting a result. So applying all the knowledge, I think, is unattainable. Just based on my own introspection. Wow, just having a bit of integrity, just doing some of it consistently and with intensity and intention, right? Just doing that, spectacular. No comparison, no competition. And now people want secrets. Okay, so I think whenever we are looking at how can we apply all the stuff that we talk about here, and I know just before we went live, we had a just fun and very brief idea. Hey, let's talk about this. But applying all of it, well, when? And here's the question that's coming up for me. So when I am focused on a specific goal, let's say, and I know what that goal is, and I'm focused on it, and it's a self-determined thing. It's something that I decided was important to me. Like we talked about, I think it was yesterday with Lindsay, here's gymnastics, versus here's being a mom and business, right? So we can evaluate the relative importance or non-importance of this or that potential achievement. Okay, so when I've elevated something to a prime or primary sort of goal, something definitely worth prioritizing, well, in that case, now it's time to apply things that are most relevant to the accomplishment of that thing. If I can use a gym example again, because I like to break this down into objectivity rather than so much, abstract or nebulous and, subjective thinking kind of stuff. I like to use objective actions as a demonstration. Okay, so back to the gym. When I went to the gym with the meatheads and pumped iron, right, there were three principles in play that I deduced through observation and having received instruction. And the first one was consistency, which we've already talked about. So we were in the gym every day. So, I mean, if you want to get big and strong, that as you do, you don't just show up once a week or once a month or, tell me about your New Year's resolution or whatever. No, we were in there every day. So consistency, that was number one. Number two was intensity. I noticed that all of these guys, and as I was instructed to do as well, we lifted, various amounts of weight to the point of muscle failure. You can't lift it anymore. You failed, right? So that is the target of phenomenon is intensity. If you're looking to grow, now if you're looking to just maintain, slim, whatever, then go hit the treadmill and get the cardio going. That's fine. We're talking about building muscle mass. We're not talking about slimming down per se. I was already, ribs sticking out, skinny. So based on my goals, right? So intensity was another principle which was applied in that environment to achieve a certain result. And the third one is we could say variety or diversity of approaches. So there are different exercises that are done to build different muscles and muscle groups. obviously, right? So an arm workout is different than a leg workout. Nobody's getting a brain hernia right now, right? We just talked about three simple concepts: consistency, intensity, and diversity, right? So where else could we apply that knowledge, okay, having observed it as workable in this objective scenario, okay, where can we apply that now into more subjective, your business? Okay, so here's lots of considerations and moving parts and decisions to be made, which may or may not be profitable. How can we apply these things into your business? Great question, right? So are you showing up consistently? Are you demonstrating intensity or intention to the proper magnitude when in your sales calls, in your delivery, in your management of resources and stuff, right? So are you doing that with definiteness of intention? And then diversity, right, is another one where, let's say you've got one lead source or one way of marketing. One's a dangerous number. No diversity there, just like we could say in the investing world, which also has a bit of subjectivity to it, right? So are you just, all chips on one thing? You can ask the Bitcoin people how that's going for them right now. Where are we at? 20. Bitcoin's 20. It was 60 a couple months ago. And who knows what's next, right? So there's another clue. There's another clue with all of the application of knowledge, right? And applying this stuff to whatever areas of life you want to be effective in, right? So what's the opposite of effect? Cause. So in everything that we do, we must assign cause to ourselves, right? We cannot assign cause outside and say, well, that thing is responsible, or I'm the effect, and that thing out there, which I just mentioned, investing and trading and passing here. That's an interesting one, because I could apply these principles all I want in a situation where I don't have causation, I don't have control. I don't know if any of you have done anything with like trading, either swing trading or intraday trading, we call scalping, right? Day trading and stuff like that. So here's the data, and it's the same truth for everybody. And yet, unless you've got billions to move that needle, right? You are the effect. You're not the market maker. You're not the one moving the charts, right? So there's trends and stuff that happens there, which, to the best of your ability and technical analysis and applying, training, basically, you can make a bet, so to speak. You can consider probabilities, and maybe you're right, and maybe you're wrong, and maybe you make a lot of money, and maybe you lose a lot of money. But you can't control that. You can't control where the chart's going next. In fact, this is something that I think you all appreciate, because a lot of what we do here is the interpretation and application of principles into life and business and what have you. So we're communicating, right? And there's emotion involved, and there's considerations, and there's I mean, look, here I am talking to you about persuading you. Yes, here I am persuading you to apply principles into various areas of your life for your own betterment. Right. And hopefully you're buying this. So hopefully you are being persuaded. Yeah, I should live, right living and principle based, and seek to be more effective in my life. That's good stuff, John. Thanks. Sell me more of that. Okay, great. I can't sell the chart that. This is the thing that was like fish out of water for me, was here's the cold calculated charts, technical, analysis, and like I can't persuade it to do anything. My best communication skills, which I'll tell you, I'm pretty good. Okay. But I can't communicate with that. The only communication I can have with that is click the button, buy, sell, long, short, right? That's it. It doesn't care what I think. Very different world, right? beautiful world for some people. I mean, look, I've had, we're talking about the application of knowledge, right? I've had people that I've worked with, and still to this day, there are people I work with in various capacities who thankfully are more skilled than I am at what they do. And I'm more skilled at them at what I do. Okay. Anybody ever seen a completely wrong fit for like a customer service rep, for example? Here's your customer service rep, and they get on the phone. What can I do for you? What's the problem now? Oh, right. Has everybody had a customer service call like that? Missy, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. Right. So wrong post, wrong person on that post. Okay. So whereas, somebody might be a brilliant, here's a real world example, a brilliant web designer, art and colorization and logos and all this. We hire people like that. We've got, a staff with our branding agency. I'm not me. No, don't ask me what I think of the colorization of the website or whatever. No. If I like it, it's probably shit. Like every logo I've ever designed looks like a heavy metal band, like every single one. So, and if you look at my logo, the John Lavenia, the JL logo, it's kind of sharp and metallic, I didn't design it, but I bought it. I was like, yeah, I'll go with that one. So, I mean, after all, it is my site. So that's the kind of thing where, these people are brilliant with their art, and applying knowledge of how to design things using software or whatever they're doing. And just don't get them on the phone with a customer. No. You don't talk to customers. I talk to customers. Right. So I guess part of being able to apply all the knowledge that you could apply is just knowing the post that you're applying it to. What is your post? Where are you to be effective? Where can you be cause? Right? Same considerations. All right. So my post then, back to the gym, was, weightlifter. Okay. Fitness seeker. And your post in your business, success seeker, marketer, developer of whatever you do, right? And we've got a variety of different businesses represented here, not to mention anybody else who might be seeing this. So I don't know your post. Okay, but you damn well better know your post. So just like on the ship, anybody seen the new Top Gun Maverick? Holy cannoli. What a production. And I think it broke all records for box office. Yeah, amazing. So, in fact, my daughter has since watched the original Top Gun from 1984 or whatever it was, twice already, having seen the sequel now, the 35-year later sequel. So, but if you look at that, if you understand the story, it's naval, aircraft carrier, jets taking off, right? And so here's the ship, right, which has a variety of posts that must be manned. And like the opening sequence of the movie was a lot of we could call it aviation porn, right? Here's jets taking off and fire coming out of it, and machinery, heavy duty, right? And so but there's different guys running around on deck, directing the traffic, setting up the machinery for the next launch or the landing, right? Where these planes are coming in and they got to get them stopped really fast, right? So that was all like, and look, I don't know that guy's post. He knows that post. I know my post, right? And I damn well better. So it's the same thing in our life. If we're going to apply knowledge, we have to apply it in a way that we can have an effect. Great news for everybody here is that you can, if you're doing anything entrepreneurial, you can decide what your post is, right? Now, sometimes people, back to the idea of all, the word all, which is in the title of our talk today, sometimes people want to be all things to all people, which is futility. Okay. In fact, that's how to play the small game. So one of the remember the principles from the gym, right? Diversity or variety was one of them. One of the things that I had to do to stop being so small in my approach and in my game was to learn to delegate. All right. So this is not my post, or these are principles which they don't work here. That's over there, right? You would apply, for example, the creative, art design kind of stuff. I don't know how to apply that stuff. I don't even know what that stuff is, but you do, right? So go be awesome at that. And that's how we can play a bigger game, right? By applying this one principle of variety or diversity, right? Having a diverse approach, while we're not at the same time relying on ourselves alone to do it. As long as we're a solopreneur, because I know we've got a lot of business people here, right? As long as there's a solopreneur situation, there will be a limit to the amount of effect that one can have, right? So can we, even if we're like just getting started, even if you're just really a solopreneur and it's you and your computer and that's like the whole operation, okay, can you think bigger than that? Can you think further ahead and apply the principle of diversification or delegation, expansion, right? That's a principle. That's one that we can observe in any, anything that's viable, anything that's growing, right? The tree grows, it's expanding, right? So life is always about, more expression, fuller expression and expansion. So in that way, can we think further down the road to, the exit strategy from, manning all the posts? Well, you know what, once I've got this one working right and I've written it up to the point where here's the instruction manual, now I can bring somebody in, an intern, a new hire, a contractor, and I could say, can you handle this? Look, Mandy's here with us right now. Okay, so we have an expert amongst us with reporting, accounting, things which I don't, not my post at all. No. Okay. But she likes this stuff and she's good at it, right? And interest renders aptitude. So of course she's good at it because like that's her bag, man. That's what she's into. So okay, let's say I was running an Amazon business or something and I'm sourcing products and I'm doing, the retail and, or arbitrage and what have you, right? Now it's the end of the week. And it's time for profit and loss statements and to analyze the, the net profitability of this versus that and all the metrics. And you know what? I don't sit here not making money and doing that, right? My accounting. Oh, hey man, have some money. Take this away from me. Thank you. Make this go away. Okay. Because you can't be all things to all people. And in this case, I can't be my own accountant. Well, I suppose I could be, and I'd be miserable and ineffective and not operating in my zone of genius, right? So again, we get leverage by having multiple people applying principles, applying the knowledge. Okay, so how do we apply all the knowledge? Number one, we apply it into the post that we're manning. Number two, and we're selective about that. Okay, we're not attempting to do all things or be all things. But number two, we go ahead and we find others who can apply our weaknesses and they can apply them in a strong fashion because that's their strengths. So we get leverage by managing our weaknesses via the strengths of others. And they're different people than us, right? We don't all have the same strengths. It reminds me a bit of Abe Lincoln, whose cabinet was full of people who disagreed with him. That's interesting, right? He had lots of disagreement, which is fantastic food for thought. Let's argue this out, right? Show me how I'm wrong. So there's the second thing, is to surround yourself with people who are stronger than you at different things. And you'll know, here's the thing, you'll know by a couple of different means. You'll know that you're going in the right direction. Number one, you'll see your statistics, right? I mean, there's the result, right? An upward trend, that's very nice. But secondly, you'll be able to continue being consistent. You'll be consistently consistent because you won't be overwhelmed and worn out. It's kind of like the topic that's come up a few times this week, the word faith, just the word faith, right? We've been reading Bob Proctor, You Were Born Rich, chapter 4, I think it was, let go and let God, right? Which is not you doing everything, right? It's you recognizing that there's higher intelligence, that things move in your favor. You just got to hold the vision, and yes, move your feet, right? Just sit there and wishful thinking or whatever, but you hold that intention. You forsake doubt and contra considerations, and you just keep moving forward, and then things things line up for you. And I don't know, we talked about it yesterday, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what combinations of whatever this and that, moving parts, I don't know. I just know it works. And so I think the ultimate answer, I've already been talking 31 minutes, but I think the ultimate answer for how to apply all knowledge, well, apply what you can to your post. Don't attempt to apply all things and be all posts, okay? And looking at the word knowledge, right? There, the word know is in there, right? And when we are operating with principles, there's a like a gradient scale of knowingness that we're also going up. So we could say at the bottom of the mountain, we could say would be total ignorance, not knowingness, nothing, right? And then at the top would be like, enlightenment, omniscience or something, right? So, all right, so we're somewhere on there. And a lot of times, just people get on that on-ramp of like hope, we'll call it hope, right? Oh, I hope this works for me, or I'm going to try, right? And that sort of thing, which is better than, apathetic, nothing, total ignorance and nothingness, right? So hope, okay, but that's kind of thin, all right? What's higher? Belief in oneself, belief in the workability of this or that principles or training or whatever, because we're demonstrating results, we're seeing statistics, we're seeing something's workable, right? That's good. And then higher than that would be knowing, right? So we're talking about applying knowledge. One of the pieces of knowledge that we must apply is our own self knowledge, our own validation and acknowledgement of how able we actually are. In other words, you're part of the creation, or I'm part of the you're part of the transaction, we could say. You're not absent from it. One of the ancient admonitions is know thyself. Know thyself. Not just hope or believe. Know thyself. So we're getting high on the mountain there. So as you put yourself into whatever effort that you're attempting to apply knowledge and principles to, also know that you're taking yourself with you wherever you go. Whether that's, you're the hero that keeps showing up, or you're the person who keeps showing up at the scene of the crime. Know thyself. Applying that knowledge, I think, clarifies a lot of the other stuff, right? Just like I already know myself that I'm not going to do the accounting. Therefore, we don't have to force solutions on problems which are not even those which we need to solve. And we can avoid that overwhelm and confusion that comes with, as we said before, the attempt to being all things to all people all the time, including to yourself. So I think, well, I hope you got something out of this. This is all just on a whim, fun Friday. So do what you like with it. But I hope you got some food for action here, because the application of knowledge, if we're not attempting to do that at a fuller extent on a consistent basis, then what is this? Is this entertainment? Go watch kitten videos or something. That this is not entertaining for me, for you, right? Watching some wacky Italian guy, talk about philosophy and stuff. That's go watch Top Gun. That's terribly entertaining. Okay. So anybody got some thoughts on this? The application of all knowledge. What do you guys think about this? And have you seen it? Have you seen this show up in your life? And I know you have. I just got an email yesterday, I think from Lynn. right? You were talking about, come on out, Missy. Lynn, you were talking about like things coming together. Thank you for that email. I'll take any feedback you guys have. Missy, what do you think?
Well, wow. I mean, my brain was exploding while you were talking. For some reason, almost the whole time you were talking, I was picturing you in the car dealership.
Oh,
So people who've read your book and know you know that you overcame a great deal from your youth, and it gave you a burning desire to be different and to be better. And I'm just picturing you like, just pretend that the world went crazy and you could no longer do this. You could go right back into a dealership and you would be the number one guy wherever you were. You'd move on to the next one, you'd be the number one guy there. Because I saw this Bob Proctor video and he said, I'm not going to say it right. There are things inside of us, I guess, habits that we're not totally aware of, that were there because they're habits, they're unconscious, right? So there's something that was preventing those other guys in the dealership from reaching your level. And yes, you're like a PhD. You're smarter than the average bear. It has nothing to do with intelligence, he said. You could have an uneducated person like Henry Ford, right? Go to the top of the mountain, because you have to be aware of yourself and you have to look in and you got to figure out what that is. Like, it's very interesting that somehow on Zoom you're seeing all my tabs. That's a lot of that is happening to me. All my tabs are running at all times. I'm trying to be all things to everything that I'm doing. And so as an effect of that, I'm slowed down, I'm disorganized. My cache is too full. They keep telling me to clear my cache. I'm like, I can't, I'll lose everything, But how do we find out? Do we sit and navel gaze and say, what is my thing that is preventing me? Like, I should have 10 people already signed up since the original fast track ended. Why don't I? There's something in me that I'm not quite aware of that has prevented that, because as far as having numbers of people to call, I certainly have that. So, and I'm willing to admit that it's something in me, but I don't know quite how to find what that is, because I'm applying the knowledge that I have. I'm doing the actions, but I'm not being something. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Like the other guys in the car dealership weren't being what you were being. So, and I know I'm not expecting you to tell me what it is. I'm on the journey of figuring that out. Because it's not just, there's something other than just making the calls and getting the people on the dotted line. It's a certain part of my beingness that is not quite right. So, I mean, would you agree with that?
I mean, if that's real for you, then do some introspection. I don't want to do too much navel gazing, but I would say, how are you showing up? And then, the corollary to that is, how could you show up differently? So if you're finding that you're not attractive to this ideal prospect, which is presumptuous, okay, then what could you do to be more attractive to that prospect? And let's not presume anything. Who are these? Oh, you're talking about the public. We're talking about, half the country's on drugs and people, and they don't even know, we got a president doesn't even know what planet he's on. I mean, what? Right. So are you, is it your fault that somebody can't hear you? Right. If you're doing what you know is good and right. Okay. And look, whether we're talking about direct sales, car dealerships, consulting work, whatever, right? There's sales is cyclical, right? You got slumps, you got whatever. But what did Albert Gray say as far as like getting out of a slump? He said, just refocus on your purpose. No need for all of this, arguing and, 10 million considerations and competition and whatever, have, can't have. No, is it just focus on the purpose, and then production takes care of itself. So I've gotten to the point, and I don't know if this is helpful for you, Missy, or for anyone here, but I remember when I was really frustrated with my sales statistics in something that I was attempting to get going. And I was attempting to be very nice and serve the customer or whatever, right? And attempting to be likable, as if I wasn't already. That's an assumption, right? So the innermost belief about myself was that I somehow needed to polish or be something that I wasn't naturally being. And I got to the point where I just said, screw it. I'm just going to be myself. And you know what? This train's leaving the station. And if you want on it, we need to talk now. And people started throwing money at me. I abandoned the customer service rep approach. And I'm the guy with the golden goose. We're either talking today or, good luck in the gutter or whatever you're going to do. I don't know. Okay. So that was more like hardcore direct sales kind of stuff. Okay. But there was a posture to that. The words may not have changed that were coming out of my mouth, but remember we talked about that scale of knowingness, right? So I went from hope, I hope I can get the sale or whatever, to I know I'm going to be successful regardless of, this or that conversation. I don't know the outcome of this. Hopefully for their sake they buy, but I'm good, right? Totally different posture. Same offer, same script, words, right? But remember the whole faith thing, right? So knowingness and faith are akin, right? Whereas we could say, hope or trying, or it's kind of thin, right? Really thin, in fact. So I changed. I already had the training. Who's doing it? That's what changed for me.
Okay. Well, I have a person at 4:45 who kept making appointments, never kept them.
Right.
Now she has an appointment. And I do my best to be pleasant. It's not an effort. I mean, I am pleasant. I'm funny. I'm patriotic. I got all that down. It's not an act. It is just part of who I am. But maybe I'll have this thing in the back of my mind now. Either you're on this time or you're not.
Okay.
I'm not wasting my time.
So go back to Oren Claff. You read the book with us,
yes.
Right? Always be leaving, right? Hey, I've only got so much time. I blocked this time for you. So just kind of commit them to that and know that this is a big event for them. Like how fortunate for them that they get to meet with you. You don't have to say those words, but have that in your mind as you're intending that this meeting is going to happen, because you have to say no to all kinds of other stuff to be able to say yes to them. So just knowing that, right? You're not out at the park. You're not feeding the ducks at the duck pond. You're not playing with the kids down the street. You're meeting with this other person whose time is valuable. And how do you know that? Because you know it for yourself. Right. So, I mean, that's a mouthful, but there's a posture that comes with that, which, I mean, Missy, I don't need to tell you, I mean, you've read probably more, Neville than I have, but there is a higher intelligence, which correlates and organizes and all this, which, you don't have to say the words. It's already been spoken, right? Here comes Missy. And now the universe heard that she's coming, right? So that's sort of again, it comes down to a bit of faith. And what a great time saver when the wrong people don't show up. Spectacular. I mean, part of being irresistibly attractive to your ideal customer is being repulsive to your not ideal customer, right? So maybe there's your sort of, what do we call it? Reverse psychology, right? Here's your affirmation. I am repulsive to right?
101, yeah.
And there you go. Go be repulsive.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to be different today. Something's got to change, so I'm going to be different.
Okay. Give it a shot. Whatever.
Right.
Like I said, I just stopped giving a shit, and then people started throwing money at me.
That's it.
Hey, Mandy. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, John. I was sorry, I've got my phone open at the moment because I was sitting outside because it's actually sunny over here for once.
Oh, call the press.
31 degrees today. We never get that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's lots that's coming up for me, but I'll just say what Missy was just saying first, which is I can relate to what Missy's talking about. And I think that, so for the part, it's putting everything together. It's not just in business, it's in personal life as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the past 2-3 years specifically, I have definitely been on a very big learning curve, finding out about myself more than what I had before. I'd already started it, but it's been a big thing with all the books and everything we've been reading. And what I tended to do, because I had that same issue, it was like, what's missing? What is it that's stopping me from doing what I want to be doing? Is it really just the fear of stepping over that line? Because it's like there's this imaginary line that you've got to step over to get outside your comfort zone, because whatever you want, it's not inside your comfort zone. It's always going to be the other side of it. You've got to have that courage to just step over. But what I will have done, and it is working, is to say to the universe, what is it that I need to be looking at, reading, listening to, watching, whatever? What is it that I need to show me the things that I am missing or need to improve on? And every time something's come up, whether it's been an Audible book, or in this case, it was a course that came up, so Hardcore Leadership came up, and I was just looking at Facebook. I'd been asking subconscious and that for the last week, what is it that I need? And then this course pops up and it's like, it all ticks the boxes. And even though other people were saying don't do it, it was like, no, this I need to do. And I'm pleased I did. And it might not be that people need, but there'll be something there that can help you, Missy, that will show you what it is that that you need to build on to make it so that you can get those sales. And it might just be what John's saying, but it could be a limiting belief inside yourself. And it's finding out what that limiting belief is and then trying to do whatever you can with the knowledge that you then learn from whatever course you're doing or Audible book or whatever. I have so many books going on Audible for personal as well as for business. And then applying that. And it's going to be a lifelong journey, I think, of working through all these things. So everything else comes up. But I've used the faith quite a lot recently in a personal thing where I've said, take over the universe, because Susan Jeffers did the same thing, let go and be God. She did the same thing. It said it wasn't necessarily God. And it's like, pass it over to the universe, say, right, you've got it now. If it's for my highest good, you do what's needed. And it may not be what I want it to be, but it will always be for my highest good. In this case, it has been. And with something with Bob Proctor as well, there was some money that needed to go into the bank and they hadn't quite made it. And I'm saying, it's going to go in, it's going to go in. And the bank still did something they shouldn't have done, but the money went in that day. When I went back later and looked at it, it was like, there we are. It's, and it's that faith thing. Faith that something's going to happen is just so important. And I've heard a lot recently that knowledge is power, but only when you apply it, which is what you're saying. Basically, we do think that we and me included in the past, you can read these books and you think you're taking it in, but you're not. You have to literally go back and apply it. And the more you read them and the more you listen to them, the more you're going to take it in, which is why listening to the same ones over and over again has really helped. But I want to go back now while Books for Britain's on the break and go and look at some of the other ones that are coming up and go back through the bits that are in there and really start to apply it more. Because you forget when you move on to the next book and the next book. But yeah, it's so much applying it and then knowing yourself, because you are the one that's doing it and you're the one that can make it or break it. And looking at it from the bigger perspective as well. Look at the big things, not just the little things. Can you be bigger? So that's a journey I've been on. So I hope that's helped a little bit, Missy.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mandy. Awesome stuff. How are things going, by the way, with the, you just muted. That's okay. I'd love an update on this enterprise that you're building. How's that coming along?
Well, it's because I've been working on myself a lot more. It's going slower, but I'm doing something. I'm working with Jesse Ecker. I'm doing his, not directly with, well, it is directly with him, but it's a group. So we're doing we're doing a big workshop. So it's always rinse and repeat stuff where you put something on, then you can rinse it, repeat it. But so I'm easy to work on some of my own personal things first, but I've got another workshop coming up. It's actually more statistics than it is accounting. So I have done some account stuff, but it's more statistics. So it's key performance indicators and dashboards and that sort of thing where you say what your profits have been, what your sales have been, what's selling the best, what country you're selling into the best, and all of this. And so it's slowly working, but I'm still working in the same place. And I've got the persistence that I'm not giving this up until I get to it. So it's there and it's going slowly, but it's because I'm scared to step over that line. And what I said to myself the other day was, again with what Missy was, it was like, I look back at what I've been doing in my corporate jobs and I was thinking, why am I scared to step over this line? I have done this in my corporate jobs. When you're in a corporate job, you have to do it because you're there, you're being paid. When you're an entrepreneur, you can step back, and that's a downside, because you can step back and say, I'm not doing it. But when you're actually in corporate, you can say, I did this, I spoke to these people, I've done these phone calls, I did all of this, I can do this. And it's getting yourself to get that confidence to just do that.
Oh, right, right. Great reminder for the power of accountability, right? So that's a principle. So like I mentioned in the gym, right? We were there consistently. Well, what if I didn't show up? Right. Well, these guys were expecting me to show up and we're going to train together. Right. So there was accountability, whereas at the job, the manager, and you've got to show up and punch the clock and you must produce for you to get your paycheck. Okay. So is there a way that just looking at any areas that you might be stopped, is there a way for you to induce more accountability? This could be self-induced. This could be, all right, now Missy, the manager, is telling Missy, the employee, that you must produce. Or it could be where, you partner up with somebody and you ask them to hold you to account. I mean,
we've been doing that. I have had an accountability, but one of the big things I've learned for myself is that I'm what you call a supporter, which doesn't really surprise me, which means that I put everybody else first. And one of the big eye-opening moments I had about a couple of weeks back was that because it's my business, it's me. So therefore, I'm putting my business last to other things because it's me. It's part of me. You wouldn't think that, but it is. It's my business. Therefore, if I put myself last, I'm sometimes putting business last. So I volunteer for lots of things, and I've been putting them first. And so now it's about not putting them first. I'm putting me and my business first. And it's just getting to know yourself and working out what it is that's stopping you and holding you back, and then doing what you need to change that. And that's the path I'm on at the moment. So the accountability was working, and we need that in a 12-week year. But you can still make excuses, like you've said. You've got your excuses or your reasons for doing something or your reasons for not having done something. They're all excuses in the end, but you've got to recognize that and then move on.
Right.
So it's still watch this space.
Well, it sounds like you've done quite a bit of research on yourself, right? So you're the supporter and you put yourself last and all this. And so, I mean, that's not exclusively who you are. Right.
No, but it's a supporting analyzer. Right. If anybody wants to understand that, go to Help Core Leadership. But yeah, it's a supporting analyzer, so that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it's bits of us. Yeah, it's the fundamental parts of us, and finding out how we tick and how we do things and how we change it.
Right. Well, I mean, as long as you know that that's not the totality of your life, right? I mean, you can change. You can.
Yes. Oh, you can definitely.
Right. I guess you can assign roles to yourself. I think, what I think it comes back down to, guys, is one of my favorite books is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And in that, well, he gives a lot of instruction in that, but just the first habit of being proactive reveals a lot, because right there with what Missy and I were just talking about is the potential to sort of pigeonhole ourselves and not be as proactive, right? So here comes other stuff onto your calendar. Now we're reactive to it. And Mandy and I have had some time one-on-one on, prioritization and where does our time actually go? Holy crap, And so that's sort of a thing. And look, Mandy, myself, there are things which deserve to be on my calendar as priorities, and they hadn't been. And one of the reasons they hadn't been is because I didn't want to hold myself to account for doing those things. What if I do them wrong? What will people think? What if I fail? What, I don't know what to do. I mean, I could tell you stories all friggin' day. And the amount of time I could spend offering justifications to myself and others, I could have done the job like 10 times.
Yeah, that was very true of me in the past, but I put the accountability group together. So I definitely wanted the accountability. It was just that I was always going off and doing other things that I felt pressurized by other people to do other things that they might want me to do. So you've got other people who can't do something. You think that they can't do it without you because they haven't got many people in the group. So you go and do things. And it's taking the massive action as well. It's something that Tony Robbins says a lot about. You've got to take massive action.
Yep.
But I think as long as you can find out where you're going wrong, and I say that to anybody, just look at yourself and you can change things. Just keep at it persistently.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you, Mandy. So good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Guys, I've had to overcome inertia in various areas of life multiple times. Like right now, I'm learning a new system, and at first it was, oh, like just to move millimeters was like an enormous amount of thought and effort, and now, all right, I've mastered those things now, right? Again, it's like a gradient, right? And now, I've got these bigger things that I'm working on. And so like in my world, right, we're about to relaunch a major product and a major coaching program. And so there's been a lot of material and assets to assemble to do that. And a lot of this for me, because I was stopped on it, was an enormous effort just to get started. But like Mandy just said, massive action, or a way I like to think of it is correct estimation of effort, right? So I might think it means this much effort. Great. Well, then let's do this much, right? So I'd rather overestimate than underestimate, which is what I typically do, is underestimate, right? So let's just plan on massive action. And then, oh, it wasn't so bad after all. And now I'm off of zero. Now I've overcome inertia, right? Because I've made a demand upon myself to be, bigger than, all my considerations. We're kind of off topic, but I think this is instructive and useful. Anybody else today? Anybody else? Thank you, Missy, and thank you, Mandy. Anybody else whose name starts with an M and ends in a Y? No. Hi, Lynn. Where's Lynn? Let's get her talking here.
Right. Okay. Just sort of on that. Sorry. I'm just trying to make some silence here. I did some Gestalt work some years back. And at one point, I sort of remember sort of saying, oh, but, I'm trying to do such and such. And I don't remember what such and such was now, but that Rob just said back to me, yeah, trying is lying. And it's like, yes, bang, bingo. It's like you're either doing something or you're not doing it, and you might as well own it one way or the other. And you just said something that brought that up for me earlier, and I just thought, yeah, I just dropped that one in. But the other thing I've been having to do is I haven't done any of my business for the last, week, I guess, or a bit more. When I had the house rewired, I had basically everything's packed like I'm moving house. So I got stuck on unpacking the house, and then I got stuck in this kind of... So I've been unpacking the house the last couple of days. When you see the books go up, you'll know, because that's like the best bit. I always do that last. But it's just, I'm actually feeling, just from going, okay, move it, get a move on, clear the decks, and unpacking the house and getting things back is like clearing the decks for takeoff for the rocket. And that's kind of where I'm at the moment. It's just, I feel like the foundations have been laid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll just show you.
I was just, as you were talking, I was looking up, some of the context on the whole Gestalt thing that you mentioned. And frankly, I find it confusing. So I don't know, what workability. Did you find that there was something that you benefited
I thought it was
from?
the best thing I ever did, in terms of bringing me complete sort of into myself. It sort of also laid the groundwork for me to leave my first husband, which was the best thing. I mean, I didn't do it straight away, but it's like I hadn't been fully me forever. And doing Gestalt work got rid of the shy, little introverted kind of person, and I kind of owned who I was and went, actually, I'm big and I'm confident and I can step out. So yeah, it can. Some people find it really traumatic and it makes them cry. I found it made me laugh. So
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, it was great. It was fabulous.
Okay. So the main thing with that is kind of like role playing, and
Yeah, it is. I refused to do role playing. I said, I'm not talking to the bloody chair, for Christ's sake.
Okay. So you did your own version of Gestalt.
I
Okay,
kind
got
of, well, Rob just had to bear with me.
okay. Got it. All right. So, well, one thing that we've certainly read here in our book study group is the idea of the pruning shears of revision. That's a Goddard, Neville Goddard term. So, sort of reinterpreting, the event and what it means to you. So, look, guys, I think, well, again, we are a bit afield of of the topic, but I think, wow, we just talked for an hour. I think what we've got here is the ability to work with a variety of principles.
Yeah.
And I think this is the biggest takeaway. What can I apply now? I think it was it Lynn or Mandy who said, Mandy. So knowledge is power when applied. We can call that wisdom. So pick something, not everything. Okay, pick something and apply it. And now you're off of zero, you've overcome inertia, and you can see the results of that. I think that's being proactive. I think that's, being effective. In other words, saying, I am going to do something with this. I'm going to cause something to happen, right? And then we can build on that, and we can also compartmentalize. And like we were saying before, we can also attract or enlist others who are sympathetic with our purposes, who then we can find cooperation, delegation, et cetera. So between everything Missy talked about, Mandy, Lynn, thank you all for this. I think we've got a lot of food for action here. Again, if you're seeing this on YouTube, go ahead and check out jlsuccessmastermind.com. And we'd love to have you in this conversation of success, which I think the world could use. Any last minute burning desires before we wrap up? See here. I don't see any hands. I don't see any hot mics. All right, cool. I'll be back here at 6:00. So for Be Heard, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I'll look forward to seeing some of you there. All right. Have a great day.